Welcome back. To start off with, I wanted to completely excuse the crudity of my workbench. I can't help it. I can't help saying that. Back to the future. Anyway, I've taken off all the tape. There's one little piece there, I'm just letting that stick a bit more because I left it to one side and it wasn't glued properly. So I've taken off all the tape, that's ready for filling. So this is the filler I use. I use P38 for this. Get a great finish off of this. I put the P38 in on the pad, the piece of the amount I want. I tend to soften it up a bit there. Doesn't matter how tidy this is, just got to get in the holes. That's all we're after. Just get in the holes. I always, when I'm doing this, I always keep an old cloth or an old kitchen towel, which I keep down here on my lap. I keep it on my lap. So when I'm quickly working with it fast, I can quickly give that a wipe off straight away. Put it on my lap, so I don't have to look too far for it. And then we're just going to pile it inside in the gaps. It doesn't matter how tight it is, because it's going to be rubbed down. Just push that in there as fast as we can. Probably need to fill it once or twice to get a proper filling on it. That's that section there. Okay, go for these bits where the gaps are here to get them filled up, just to get them filled. If you have any ideas on filling things or any sort of modelling that could be faster and better for me, please do tell me, because I'm not an expert at modelling. I just enjoy modelling and I have my way of doing it. You might know a better way, and I'd love to know, because I've picked up some great ideas on YouTube watching people modelling, some great things. Just going to bang it in that side there, just get it as much covered up as possible. I don't expect it to be covered great. We probably would better put a bit of tape on the bottom of that before I'm going to put a bit of tape behind that, behind this, because it's a wide gap. I'm going to slap a bit of tape behind the back of that, just sort of fill as it's in there and it doesn't come out. It's just a quick way of filling something. You do the same sort of thing if you plastering a hole up in the wall. See, I'm just putting it in there. Sorry if that's gone off screen, but that's going in there. Where I put the tape in there, it'll stop it going right through. I'll rip the tape off afterwards, that's not a big deal. They're the worst gaps that need to be filled. The other ones are down the front here. To one side and down that side there. Put a little bit of a point to it if I can. Down one side, like that. I hope I'm keeping this on screen for you. I'm sorry if it drifts off. Like I said, I'm not used to doing this. Well, I'm going this way around now. Tell me on this side here. Most of the gaps are not too bad. Right, that's that filled all the way around the edges there. I'll let that set. This can be dry in about 5 minutes and I can start rubbing that down straight away. I'm going to let that set, as you can see from there, but although I've mixed them up, I had to mix up another set because that's set already. So I'm going to let that dry a bit more, then I'm going to give it a rub down, wet and dry, rub it down. When you're doing this, you don't want it too lumpy, you don't want to be working too much on one section like this section, you don't want too much of it there. But the good thing about it is when you add a bit of water to that and you start rubbing that down, it comes out quite nice. Anyway, I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to let it dry and we'll come straight back to that as soon as it's done. We're now in the kitchen. Before I start, I have to ask you to excuse the crudity of my kitchen. I tidy up as much as I can. Anyway, we're now at the point where we can start rubbing down this. I'm going to try my best to try and keep it in. Right, what I normally do to start off with this, because there's a lot of rough edges here I want to remove, I'll start off with one of these nail file things again. handy for everything. So I just start rubbing like that, keeping it flat at all times. Just get the rough edges off. I'm try and do it so you can see what I'm doing. Like I said, I don't normally make models and film it at the same time, so this is all new to me. But I'm hoping to get better, and I hope you can see what I'm doing, and I hope it helps. Rub down as much as I can with this sander, just to get the rough edges off it. And what I'm doing is I'm coming in flat that way, and I'm coming in flat that way afterwards. I don't know if you're seeing that. Coming in that way, flat. Then I'll go that way, then I'm coming that way, flat. Keeping it as flat as I can. Because just the lumps I want to remove off this edge here. Getting all the rough parts off of it. Like that, and like that. I'm just going to give you a basic rubbing down where I rub it, and so I keep one end flat like that, then I flip over that side flat, the other end flat. I try and get it down as much as I can. And then the front part where we had that big gap, and that side there. So I'm rubbing this side here, rub that side, then I flip over that side and get it to a point if I can. I'm going to go to the rougher side. Now once I've done all that and I've got the rough bits down, the large lumps off of it, these bits here, then I'll get a piece of wet and dry. This is 400. I always find 400, but this is 600. I think this is 600. I'm going to go 400. Okay, get a bit of 400. 400 is just about right. So you think of 400, but what I'll do is I'll just wrap it around this piece of plastic here, because it's very handy. Wet it, get a tap running, keep it wet, and come to same thing again, flat one side, wet and dry it in like that. But you can see how it takes the filler straight off with the wet. This is why I use a P38. It just comes off so easy. It's just a lot better. Then flat again this side. Don't push too hard. Just give it a nice gentle rubbing down there. Flat that side. You can see now it's beginning to show a nice edge there. I'm not going to go too much on that edge because I'm going to give another fine filling over that again. Just work on the edge like that. If you never used P38 before on a model, give it a try. It actually does okay. It really does work well, and it does fill in very well. I find with the normal modelling filler, I tend to find the filler would always fall out of the gaps. It just never stayed in the gaps, and I found myself forever filling all the time. But the filler stayed in the gaps on this. It stays where it's supposed to, it stays where it's supposed to be. I'll rub this down, then I'll refill it again. I'll feel along the edges for any gaps, and I'll refill it again until I've got it all done, all round. I'll continue with that. I'll get back to you as soon as that is done. Right, I primed this section, the body of the Dalek. The reason why I primed it is not to be sprayed or anything like that. Is normally you need to give it a second coat or a second filling and without the primer you can't see the blemishes or where it needs to be filled, but with the primer I can see areas like here, all along here need to be refilled. Don't know if you can see it there, needs to be refilled there. You can see marks. Now when this wasn't primed I wouldn't have saw these marks at all, and I would have been filling blind. So I'm just marking it exactly where I want to refill it. Where it definitely needs to be filled. Doesn't matter about the pencil mark because that's going to just sand down, because it's going to be sanded down again after it's been refilled. So I'll just put little marks where it needs to be filled. That's how I do it. You don't have to do it this way, you can do it any other way you like. So anyway, I'm going to fill that in a short while. But first, let's get back to the next stage. I want to do the next stage of the body. This is the body of the Dalek. I want to do the shoulders, they call it. The shoulders of the Dalek. This bit will sit up here. The shoulders of the Dalek. It should sit there like that. And that section will sit above there, like that. But to do that, it's the same sort of process as the last one. We need to rub down the edges, so these sections here, where we're going to glue the edges from there onto there and onto the base there, then them edges need to be rubbed down. So it's just a case of rubbing them down for the gluing. I'm going to use the normal modelling glue for this because it sets a lot stronger. When you're doing a lot of rubbing down, I'm finding that if you use super glue it tends to snap apart once the water's on there. So we're just rubbing that down to get a bonding point, so the glue can melt it and weld itself to the part it wants to weld itself to. This is this section. There's a small lip going around there, and there's a shine on there. Like I said, when I weld it I get shine. You can just about see a shine on there. Now when the shine's on there, the glue doesn't sort of penetrate through that for some reason, because as the laser's been cutting through that, it would have burned it, melted it, and just put a glaze over it. So I'm going to rub that glaze down, and I'll be straight back to you. I'll be back in 2 seconds. To me it'll be hours, but you a couple of seconds. Right, I've rubbed this all down, all the edges have been done. I've rubbed all the edges down on these items here. They're all done on the sides there and top and bottom. Rubbed all the way around here. This is so the glue will set onto it, otherwise it won't set, it will just come apart. Now to get this dead centre, I want it dead centre, and rather than just judging it, I'm just going to get one of these. Simple method, just go like that, put it on there like that. This is a clever little trick, you can give it a try later on if you want. Just typical primary school stuff, is it? Just draw around that, like that, draw around that, draw around that, like that, like that, draw around that, like that, like that. That's all you do, just draw around them like that. And then the next thing is we're going to just fold them over like that, and that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much it. So we're just going to fold them over, and we know exactly where the centres are on that. But to do that we need to shake them off a bit. And we'll do that now. There you go, that's simple. I don't know, try that at home, it's a clever little skill. It's called release paper. And all we do is fold that over like that, there, on that side like that. Mark it on there, dead centre, mark it off. Then we know exactly we're in the right spots with our parts. And then do it again that way, just so it's centre. I think it's more the circle really, because the circle needs to be dead centre. We're going to do that centre that way. Like that. just so I know where the marks are on there, so I know exactly where these are going. We'll do the same for the circle. Maybe if you're quite skilled and you don't need to do it this way, you can just judge it. This is just my method. Just, you know, in fact, my method would be just to judge it. Really, it's just how I normally do it. But I'm going to be a little bit more precise, because the last DALEK I did, it started going out of started losing its dimensions as I was working my way through it. So I thought it'd be a better idea of this to make sure I get everything dead straight. Just a simple method of doing that. Simple as that. Simple as that. There you go. Now we come back to this again. We get our modelling glue, which I put a description on the bottom down there. There'll be where to get this from, what it's called. Good glue, very good glue. Use it all the time. Right, straight on top of our line there. Then we get the side and go straight on there. Make sure we got the right way. We go straight on there with that. Need to hold that for a couple of seconds. It'll take a while to dry. So I'm just going to stop you from watching, because this is going to take a while, and I'll get back to you when I've glued all these on. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Right, that's that done. I've glued it all in place. Let's just straighten that up a bit there, actually. A bit crooked that. I just moved it a fraction there. Right, that's all in place. I've got it all in place. That's all glued there. Try and get them these edges as lined up as much as you can to the edges of the top and the bottom, because the last one I put of these, together of these, I don't know if you heard. Make sure when you do this that you get these edges as close as you can to the edges of the line up. Not overlapping, but as close as you can. Because the last time I made one of these, it needed the support of this, and it wasn't over enough to support it, so I had a little problem with it. But this is a bit of a really fiddly side, because you've got to try and bend a plastic sheet around that. That's really, really awkward. And then there's the gun sections, where the guns sit here. There's nothing really explaining how that goes together. It just says, some of them, there's a couple of plans. One says build a box and put it in place like that. The other one says just put the piece over and then put your boxes in place, but it's really hard to judge where they are. I've not decided how I'm going to do that, because I'm pretty much planning this as we're going along. So I'm going to let that set. That'll be the next stage, the neck of the DALEK. And remember, try to remember, I keep forgetting, I think the worst of walking away and leaving that lid off on that. That'll be the neck of the DALEK. That'll sit on top of there like so. Then it'll have the skin that'll go around that. It's a little bit, some points if you look at it, it's not coming right to the edge. It's not coming right to the edge there. But that's okay, because there's going to be this outer skin's going to go on that. And then it'll have like spaces on that. It'll have a collar that'll come overlapping that, going down there. And that's that stage of the DALEK. That's where we are with that. This next bit around here is going to be fiddly. I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to get back to you, let you know how I've done that. Okay, but I'm going to first need to let this here set. What I'm going to do with these while you're gone, I'm going to put some supports on the corners here. What I do when I do supports is hang on. Back again on some of these. When I do supports, I tend to get plastic sheeting like that. Get your X-Acto knife, if you can remember exactly where you put it. Do a little trim on the old plastic sheeting there. So you know it's straight, like that, and at an angle. Be careful, because the knife is sharp and it will cut you at an angle, and then break that there if you can, if it's possible. Let's go over to for that. Quite a small piece to be breaking. So I'm just going to do spaces or supports like this, so you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put them around the bottom of these because putting the collar bit or the outer skin on this is going to be fiddly. I'm going to stick the collar on there. I'm going to put support on it like that. I'll just support that because there is a bit of pushing going on to that when you're trying to wrap the collar around now. I'm going to work out how I'm going to do this first and I'll get back to you. I'm not sure if I'll put the whole box here first, like so. This looks like a good option. And then just cladding round this way, round that way. Just stop in there and then put a smaller cladding there. You won't see it too much because there'll be a collar going around there. Anyway, I'll work that out and I'll get straight back to you and show you how we do that. I'm going to put supports around that now and I'll get straight back to you when that's done. Other projects I've got on the go. So I'll be doing behind the scenes of doing the DALEK is one. I'll be making a wall of the worlds, electrical wall of the worlds with lights up and everything. I programmed all the chips and stuff there, that's all been programmed. I programmed all the chips, all the chips there. They've all been programmed so they do the right sequence of flashing. And I've also done I've ordered myself a 1/6 scale model or figure of Lee Major's $6 Million Man. It'll be a couple of weeks before he's here, but I decided to make, if you remember the $6 Million Man TV show, they had a Fembot episode where Steve Austin would be fighting these robot-y type guys or whatever. So I had this figure's head spare and I decided what I'll do is I'm going to get a spare body, clove it, and just to display with Steve Austin a Fembot, but I'll just cut his face apart so he can have wires and stuff going on inside there. A bit like Westworld. Westworld. It's another project. There's about 8 or 9 projects on the go. So that's that. I'll be doing that at some point. Taking a few wires in there. There won't be no lights in there because it'll be too fiddly. I'm doing this wall of the worlds. This wall of the worlds will look pretty much like this one here. When it's done. So this one's just waiting for its owner to pay for it, and I'll post it off to him. But this one all lights up, and you've got sound and the flashing gun on there, and sound and everything. You can see I'll put a post on my YouTube channel showing you working one of these. What's this guy asked if I do it in white. So also, if you're interested in War of the Worlds and you're interested in this sort of thing, and you like that colour, I'll do any colour you like. I'll do it pink if you want it pink. Anyway, I'm working on one of these. The next one I'm working on is to be silver or white. I've not decided. It looks okay in white, but I think the paint job's a little bit more fiddlier. I will also do a video of that as well. So I'll catch you later. I'm going to get stuck into now filling this, and then after I fill that, I'm going to rub it down. And once it's rubbed down, it's going to have its, once it's rubbed down, it can be primed again for its paint job. I'm going to then finish off rubbing down the top here to make sure it's all nice and smooth, and the bottom as well, because we have another bait to go at the bottom of that. But it needs to be filled, and I'm going to fill that now, let it set, rub it down, spray it again, and that'll be ready for that to be sprayed. Silver. Silver. I'll see you all later on. Thanks for tuning in.